Just one, two. Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the November 4th, 2025 meeting of the Town of Chatham Select Board. Please note this meeting is being recorded and will be available shortly hereafter for scheduled and on-demand viewing on any smartphone or tablet device. If anyone else is recording the meeting, please notify the chair. Seeing none, pursuant to Governor Healy's March 28, 2025 signing of Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2025, extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency, suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 20, until June 30th, 2027, this meeting of the Chatham Select Board is being conducted in person and via remote participation. Every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided for in the order. A reminder that persons who would like to listen to this meeting while in progress may do so by calling the phone number 1-508-945-4410, conference ID 203-386-491#, or join the meeting online via Microsoft Teams through the link in the posted agenda. While this is a live broadcast and simulcast on Chatham TV, Xfinity Channel 1072, despite our best efforts, we may not be able to provide real-time access. We will post a record of this meeting on the town's website as soon as possible. First item of business is to establish a quorum. Ms. Davis.
Present.
Mr. Metters.
Present.
Mr. Smith.
Present.
The chair is present. We have a quorum. The next item of business is to approve two sets of minutes. The first is the meeting of October 21, 2025. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any corrections? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Ms. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. Metters?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. They are approved. The next, the minutes of October 28, 2025.
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Are there any corrections? I have just a couple. On page 3, first full paragraph, the third line from the bottom, the word recommended, I would strike that and insert the word suggested. And then in the middle of the line after the phrase Traffic Safety Committee, I would insert the word could. And then on page 7, up at the top, at the end of that first sentence after the phrase Merchants Association, I would put a comma and insert with several town representatives. Any other corrections? Okay, I'll call the roll. Ms. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Metters.
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. They are approved. Public announcements and agenda item requests. Do we have any from the board? Yes, Stuart.
I had one. I was wondering whether we could have an agenda item for comms, communications between the town manager and the board, notifications and things like that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Corey?
Actually, I just want to make sure because I didn't make it a formally last meeting, but it got brought up in a discussion when the first night committee got brought up. Just the restroom situation of by Volunteers Park, what it might take to make that more usable into the later season, the water connections, all that fun stuff. So I didn't see it listed on a future agenda item, but
Let's put it on the list.
yeah, that's it. Thank you.
If it isn't already there. It is on there.
It's under Public Works, opening Veterans Park restrooms for First Night Chatham.
Okay, great. I just wanted to announce, unless someone else, the next Tuesday is Veterans Day, and the town of Chatham will have its annual observance in honor of our veterans at the community center at 11 o'clock in the morning. We encourage everyone to attend. That will be sponsored by the Public Ceremonies Committee. Okay, any public announcements or agenda item requests from the public? Looks like Elaine Gibbs. Do you have something, Elaine?
Yes, I do. Thank you. I have an agenda item request. On August 19th, we had an emergency preparedness meeting after I'd asked for it and wanted to know what the plan would be if we lose all power, heat, light, and cell phone service, and no shelters are open, to declare a local state of emergency that the select board can do and unlock the community center. It was continued by the select board. It's now November 4th. There is no meeting next week. So I decided to check what had happened in the interim. If you go to the main page of the town website, under popular links, there are 8, and one of them is public safety. I clicked on it, it's blank. Then I went to emergency management, and under community emergency response team link, I clicked on that, and all it said was a new website is in the works. So it could have been on tonight's agenda, because you don't have a meeting next week, and November 18th is very full with a lot of important issues. And I'm a little disturbed that we're not getting our priorities straight here. I had asked for this in April when we lost all power. It's now November 4th. It seems to me that if we have to wait until Thanksgiving when nobody's around, no communication, nobody's going to know what to do and storms can come in, that you could take a vote tonight as the select board to say, in the event of that situation, the select board will open, as a local emergency, open up the community center, just unlock the door. I've been asking for this for 5 years, and I don't get it. We've spent a fortune on putting in generators there. It's a public building, it's open, and you can do it and avoid all the complications of having a shelter. And I don't understand why you won't do it. But now, again, we're going into winter and we have no plan and everything's blank on our website. So that's my request.
Okay, thank you, duly noted. The August 19th meeting, which was on the agenda at both yours and Board Member Smith's request, called for additional continued discussion on personal care sites and emergency shelters. We will move that onto one of our agendas in the near future. We can't take a vote tonight because it's not on the agenda. But
Well, you can do it on an emergency basis. I'm just saying because November 18th, you've got a full schedule. And there are
well,
priorities, I
there are
think, here.
complications, as you heard. We heard them from the fire chief about the pros and cons of opening a shelter. So it's not something that, I'm prepared to have the board consider on an emergency basis tonight. But
Well, then they should get their websites up and running then. So we have some way to
Well,
communicate,
I
because
think
it's worse than it's ever been
Well, the town manager.
in terms of no information.
Town manager is here, and she heard your comments about that, and so we'll leave that for the staff to address. But thank you for bringing them forward, and we will try to move this ahead at Mr. Smith's request. It's on the list. Thank you. Any other public comments? I'm sorry, agenda item requests or public announcements? Okay. We'll now go on to public comments on the business agenda. And if there are any, we'll take them now, or we can take them contemporaneously. Okay, I see none. We'll go right on to the business agenda. The first is an application for a special one-day alcohol license and possession and consumption of alcohol on town property for Chatham Walker's annual holiday party, December 2nd, from 4:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. at 702 Main Street, Chatham. That's the community center. Yes. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening. Mary Ellen Lorifus, representing the Chatham Walkers. It's our annual holiday potluck party. It's a good time. It's all adults. People bring their own wine or beer. There are no people underage there at all. And we usually go a little bit early to set up, and the party itself runs from 5 to 8. And we're usually cleaned up and out by 8:15, but I wrote 8:30 on the, just in case,
Thank you. Well, you've been here multiple times. Any questions from the board or the public? If not, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the one-day alcohol license.
There's language in there.
Yeah.
I'll second it. Mr. Chair, if you could just clarify, so
Sure.
there's two different start times on the application, and you said you wanted to come in at 4 to set up.
If that's not convenient, if there's somebody who has the room before us, we could come at 4:30.
It's more for the alcohol consumption, because they have to vote for the consumption of alcohol on town property. And so we just needed to clarify, was that a 4 o'clock start time or a 4:30 start time for that?
The setup is when we go in and decorate, put out all the table settings. No one actually comes in except that little committee to actually eat food or get going till 5 o'clock.
So 5 o'clock's the time where you'll be serving alcohol, or would you do it at 4:30? That's what we're just.
Oh, 5 o'clock, I'm sorry. People will come in with their own. They just bring it from home.
So do we want to adjust the draft motion says 4:30 to 8:30? Want to change that to 5 o'clock to 8:30? Stuart, that's in the motion.
Okay. I move to grant permission for possession and consumption of alcohol on town property and a special one-day alcohol license for wine and malt beverages only to Mary Ellen
Lorifice.
Lorifice of the Chatham Walkers for the annual holiday potluck on December 2nd, 2025, from 5 o'clock to 8:30 at 702 Main Street, Chatham.
And Shireen
I'll
has,
amend my second, yeah.
she has seconded it. Okay. We'll call the roll. Ms. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Metters.
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
luck. Next, we have a consideration of special one-day licenses. The first is for Sundance Clothing on December 12th, 2025, from 5 o'clock to 10 o'clock p.m. at 497 Main Street, Chatham. Do we have a representative from Sundance present? The application is from April Cabral.
Mr. Chair, I'm not seeing her online.
We did reach out to her.
I did.
Is this subject to our, this is a liquor license, right? So,
It is a special one-day alcohol license, yes.
yeah, we have a rule that they're supposed to show up in person. Okay, well, we'll have to defer on this unless the board wants to waive that rule. I'm reluctant to do that myself. But. Yes, Corey?
No, I think we should hold on it. I think because of hit pass, we want to make sure we're clear on all the applicants. But do you think there's anything that this board needs to do to completely reinforce the requirements, the timetables? Because I seem to we've waived the 30-day a couple of times. You know, we've had not just one incidence of representatives not being present. There's, we can go through a flexibility of, working with applicants, but I think we need to be as clear as possible to be fair to everybody. So if there's anything we can do on top of reinforcing what the protocol is, I think everyone would appreciate it.
Well, Shireen, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I know that the chamber put out an email today about, did some outreach today about the alcohol licenses and stuff.
Which the deadline passed.
It did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think, I saw that too. I was going to bring that up.
31st.
Oh, it was.
But I think we should probably reach out to the chamber and remind them of these two rules on timeliness and personal appearance. But on this one, I guess we'll defer until we have the applicant present. The next is Chatham Paint and Hardware, December 12th, 2025, from 5 o'clock p.m. to 9 o'clock p.m. at 624 Main Street, Chatham, and Mr. Fox is here. Welcome.
Paul Fox, Chatham Paint and Hardware. This will be our fourth year of serving the wine and beer, and it's always a great time. So looking forward to it, and I think my customers are, and just people in general, I think it's a great time. I will have at least 9 people staffing the store. We'll be serving wine and beer and some cheese and crackers. The doors, there's 2 doors for people to enter and exit on. They'll be staffed. No drinks coming in, no drinks going out. One of my managers who's going to be handling the pouring is also moonlights as a bartender. And we pretty much pour, 2 is the limit, and they're about 4-ounce drinks. That's about it.
Thank you very much. Any questions? or
Mr. Chair.
Comments? Any from the public? Okay, none. Shereen?
I move to grant a special one-day alcohol license for wine and malt beverages only to Paul Fox of Chatham Paint and Hardware for December 12, 2025, from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. at 624 Main Street, Chatham.
Second.
Moved and seconded. I'll call the roll. Ms. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. Metters?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. It's approved. Thank you very much. Good luck.
All right, thank you.
Next item on the agenda is to consider seasonal shellfish openings. And I'll call on our shellfish constable, Renee Gagne. We have several. This is very customary, and we ask the clerk to read them once we vote them, Stuart, so.
Yes, good
Renee,
evening,
welcome.
Mr. Chair, and good evening to the board. I'm here to seek your support to open our seasonal shellfish areas on December 1st, and you'll notice that 3 of those official notices have pending DMF approval. We haven't received the water quality samples yet. I don't think we're going to have any issues, but that's why that caveat is on those notices.
Okay. Thank you. We'll take the vote first, and then I think Stuart reads the actual, yeah,
I'll make the motion then.
okay.
I move that we approve the opening of Mill Creek, Taylor Pond, Champlain Creek, and Oyster Pond, Muddy Creek, and Bucks Creek. Wait, I got to do that again. I move to approve, make a motion to approve the Mill Creek, Taylor Pond, and Champlain Creek opening, and Oyster Pond, Muddy Creek, and Bucks Creek opening pending Mass DMF notification to the harvesting of shellfish effective December 1st, 2025. And we'll sign the official notices, I guess.
Yeah, I think those are signed electronically.
Yep.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we'll call the roll on this. Ms. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. Metters?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Stuart, did you want to just read the substance of each of these,
Sure.
please?
Shellfish Rules and Regulations, November 4th, 2025, effective December 1st, 2025. The water and flats of Mill Creek, north of a line drawn from the western breakwater to the eastern breakwater at the mouth of Mill Creek, and south of a line drawn across the mouth of Taylor's Pond, are open to the taking of shellfish by permit holders until further notice. Continued Shellfish Rules and Regulations, November 4th, 2025. Effective date, December 1st, 2025. The waters and flats of Taylor's Pond, north of a line drawn across the mouth of the pond, are open to the taking of shellfish by permit holders until further notice. Shellfish Rules and Regulations continued November 4th, 2025. Effective date, December 1st, 2025. The water, flats, and all tributaries of Champlain Creek, northwest of a line drawn from the outermost piling at the town boat ramp, northeasterly to the no shellfishing sign in the marsh on the opposite shore, are open to the taking of shellfish by permit holders until further notice. Shellfish Rules and Regulations, November 4th, 2025, effective December 1st, 2025. The oyster pond east of a line from Kelly Landing to Long Point is open to the taking of shellfish by permit holders until further notice. Shellfish Rules and Regulations, November 4th, 2025, effective December 1st, 2025. The waters and flats of Muddy Creek, southwest of a line drawn across the mouth of the creek as defined at low tide, and northeast of the Route 28 bridge are open to the taking of shellfish by permit holders until further notice. Lastly, shellfish rules and regulations, November 4th, 2025, effective December 1st, 2025. The waters and flats of Bucks Creek, north of a line across the mouth of the creek and east of a line across the mouth of Cockle Cove Creek, are open to the taking of shellfish by permit holders until further notice.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Renee.
Thank you.
Next item is the 2025 annual review of the intermunicipal Nauset Beach Agreement. This is with the town of Orleans, and our Director of Natural Resources, Greg Berman, will present.
Thank you. So this is our annual review of the agreement. It may seem that we talked about this less than a year ago. That's because that was the 3-year update to the actual agreement. So every year in October, we bring forward the opportunity to review how, things worked over the last year. And then every 3 years, we look to redo the entire agreement. Nate Sears, the DNR director in Orleans, and I met recently and looked at how things worked over the season. We both agreed things seemed to go pretty well. As far as finances and fees, our recommendation is status quo for now. So you do have the option to meet individually or jointly, and my theory is if things aren't broken, singly works fine, but that's up for the select board. There's no necessarily a vote or anything needed unless you feel that something does need to be changed at this time.
So thank you. Greg, I just looked at the amount of money we brought in last year. On October 21st, Town of Orleans sent a check to Chatham, the amount of $145,000 approximately. How does that compare with, this is our share of the fees, how does that compare with previous years? Do you happen to recall?
Yep, so it's slightly more than last year, so the percentages are still the same, that we get 25%. But last year was 133,410. So
we have a couple more years under this agreement before it has to be
yeah, we
renewed?
just renewed it in, I believe, April 1st of 2025. So
Okay.
it wouldn't be until 3 years after that we need to.
Okay.
June 30, 2028.
Okay. And we've gone back and forth with the Orleans Board over the years on various aspects of this, and we finally got to the point where we came to some consensus about the respective shares. So it seems to be reasonable to me. I don't know if we want to take a vote to basically endorse or just express our consensus with the staff's recommendation that status quo continues. Stuart.
Sure. Thank you, Greg. I just had one, I guess, question. Dean's question kind of tipped my mind. So we bring in $145,592.50. What does it cost to run our portion of the North Beach operation? And then I had it, while you're pondering that, on the second page, it says Nauset Beach Agreement, third paragraph, last portion of the sentence, it says, and the town of Chatham from a point south of the Nauset Beach parking lot to the Chatham Inlet. I'm assuming that's the boundary, on the northeast corner of Strong Island headed east. Is that the southbound boundary you're talking?
I believe so. I'd need to take a look at the language, but that sounds like it.
It's marked on the beach, too.
Yeah. My only point is we may want to define that with a Latin long, but so be it. I think my recollection is it's like, I don't know how much beach, maybe a mile from that point to the inlet, more or less.
Ballpark, yeah.
Yeah. Do you recall? I tried looking in the town report, but it doesn't get that detailed as to what the salaries, the operational cost.
So it's Not specifically called out. I mean, there's a variety of salaries that go into it, whether we're counting the, sticker office staff, a portion of their time, a portion of our North Beach seasonal staff, a portion of our permanent staff in conservation who also help and supervise some of those. So it is not specifically called out, and in addition to that, it can vary year to year. If we were to introduce an HCP, the fee paid to the state for that HCP and any additional monitoring would be added onto that. So that's accounted for in the budget in case, but doesn't get spent every year.
Yes, the budget that you supply, I assume it's done the same way to the town manager, and it itemizes the various functions under natural resources. Shellfish is one of them, and there's a bunch of others. North Beach, I assume, is also itemized under there, and I'm just trying to figure out what the, I don't care about the permit people, I'm thinking about the operational people who operate on the beach.
So if we're talking about staff, it would be seasonal hours that
Yeah.
aren't necessarily called out separately for, just trying to think. I mean, it's, conservation seasonal is almost entirely for North Beach. And then when we go through the budget, one of the later lines in conservation is, I believe it's called plover monitoring, but that really is, all the fencing and equipment and HCP that's used on North Beach. We'll probably put a comment in there this time, just specifically calling out that it's North Beach, not just plover monitoring.
Yeah, I'm just curious as to if maybe you know, Jill, as to whether our expenses, generally speaking, that run North Beach are covered by this amount. I just don't know.
I think they are. I think that was one of the reviews that we did a couple of years ago. And more recently, it's under the conservation budget, under natural resources. And I know with the HCP, so that's the Habitat Conservation Plan, is that what it stands for? That runs around $10,000. That's what's in that budget. So I know that and we can certainly get the information to you, but a few years ago, we did sort of a cost-benefit analysis to see what our expenses were. And I
Right.
believe this does cover it.
Okay. That's really what I was, curious about, maybe down the road, is to whether we're still covering that. Sounds like we generally are. That's always a good thing. Okay, I guess I had some other questions, but that's fine. Thank you.
Shereen?
Yeah, Jeff and I have been part of the team that has, we haven't had to really meet on this at all in the last few years. The relationship with Orleans has been good, and we've not had to implement any mediation on bird habitat at all. I think it's been run fairly well in the last few years. We are constantly considering the idea that, because we are shut down we're shut down because of piping plovers for a good part of the season in tandem with Orleans, but we also have lease turns that habitat the beach at the end of the beach, and that causes for a later closure. That doesn't seem to be impacting revenue. Yet again, the beach is really popular, and the end of the beach is probably one of the more popular places where we go, and that's Chatham itself. But again, I just want to reiterate, we had some contentious relations prior to me being on the board, and since then, I think there's been quite a good relationship build from Chatham to Orleans in the last few years. I think, as Jill had mentioned, there was an assessment done of the costs. It would be worth another look, but I'm not inclined to open up and try to do any fee changes at this point.
Right. Go ahead, Stuart.
Unless Corey had
I was simply going to say, I think our relationship with Orleans is very good right now. We've had some heavier discussions in the past. I think we've worked through those. I think we're in a fair situation with them in the agreement, and I don't see anything glaring at me that wants to change that at the moment.
Okay. Stuart?
Well, one thing that and I'm not suggesting a change, but one thing to think about, and maybe, I'm sure Jill and Greg, probably have debated it, but years ago, when the North Inlet wasn't there, and we just dealt with the South Inlet, so to speak, and the town, through various departments, dealt with the rest of North Beach, vehicle access, where the island is now. And so when the inlet took place, we continued to manage and oversee about a mile of beach. That's changed, it's gone back and forth a little bit with the conditions on the inlet, but there seems to be a whole lot of effort going into dealing with a mile of beach. Now, I know you have monitors over on the island, and that's kind of its own issue as well as other parts of the community, but something to think about that, somebody's driving there every day, somebody's running a vehicle down there every day, and I don't know the distance between the parking lot at Nauset and Chatham's border, but it's probably somewhere, I don't drive it, but it's probably somewhere around 6-7 miles or so. And somebody's doing that several times a day in order to oversee a mile of beach, and I just was wondering whether there was maybe a more effective way to do this. And, but, something we can talk about during the budget process.
Shireen?
Greg, did we put a truck on the beach? I thought Orleans was like monitoring the beach with us, like.
No, we actually have a demarcation at the town line.
Right.
That, we patrol ours, they patrol theirs within reason. If there's an emergency, people may go across. But, our bird monitoring and our North Beach Rangers are just in Chatham. There is a lot of transit time. They're going to have to get down there anyway. We had a Kubota years ago, but just keeping that down there wasn't really an effective way of doing it. The 4x4 trucks are more effective.
Yeah. Something to think about. You're driving from Chatham to Orleans, then you're, getting ready to go on the beach. You drive down the beach, you do whatever you do, and then you come back for literally a mile of beach. And I'm wondering if there's a more efficient, effective way to do it. But we can chat about it during the budget. Thank you.
Happy to.
Greg, is the Select Board in Orleans, or are they of the same posture? Have they met yet to discuss this?
So they're going to put it on their schedule, and while town staff does not talk for the select boards, all impressions are that there's also, status quo has been talked about.
Okay. Just one question. I noticed in the town manager's report upcoming, I think it was under the GIS report, which is not your department. There were several, I think there were 2 perhaps, nesting places of American oyster catchers. Are they protected under the HCP as well as the least terns and the plovers? First time I had seen that.
I believe they are. I'm not sure if we have any takes in there. I'd have to look and get back to you.
Okay.
But primarily, it's the least terns and plovers that are the effect.
Okay. Well, I think that the sentiment of the board is the consensus is that we endorse your recommendation for status quo on this. And thank you for the update. And if we hear anything to the contrary from Orleans, we'll be back with this. Thank you, Greg.
Very good. Thank you.
Final item on the agenda is the town manager's report for the month of September 2025. Jill, turn to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So you have the report in front of you, and it's also posted online with the agenda packet. And this is the monthly report for September, but also there's a few current items as well as select board follow-up. So we noted in here the FY 2027 budget review. That was the summit that occurred on October 21st. It kicked off the budget process for us, as well as our meetings with town departments. And so it's navigating the fiscal year ahead. And also at that budget summit, different than last year, we had 2 departments promote how the appropriation turns to reality. So examples from natural resources and information technologies, just to illustrate the connection between the budget and funding. And they also included some operational efficiencies. So I'm trying to bring in more of the departments to the budget summit while they do participate. I thought it was important for them to showcase what they do. and all of that is posted online. And so the next item is the Center for Active Living, the CFAL Building Working Group. I believe we're having our third meeting tomorrow. Last week's meeting included a tour of the CFAL as well as an on-site meeting there. And so the working group members, along with the project team, were able to see exactly where some of the items may have been value engineered or what may now be desired. So we have a meeting tomorrow. The meetings are recorded and public comment is accepted. Some information just came out this afternoon, and that's been posted to the website. And just so the committee members know, if they're watching this, we'll have hard copies printed for them. So
What information is that?
information is a recap of the meeting from last week, including it's almost like a budget and a schedule.
Okay.
So it's, I don't have it in front of me,
That's
but
all right.
it's one of the items that will be discussed, and we wanted to post it online. As a working group, there's a lot of, it's less formal, as you know, and so it's, in order for the public to follow along, we thought it was really important that the materials be posted as well, especially as we're maneuvering through it. And then the project team, the designer and the OPM have a presentation that they'll go through, and that's available through Teams.
And I wanted to say I appreciate Stuart's participation on that. He's been keeping me informed about what's going on, so it's good that we have a good group working on this. Okay.
Yeah, we do. And so I'll just note the other members of the working group are Robin Zebrat, who's the president of the Friends, Chatham COA Friends, Rob Stello Construction, as well as Stephen Daniel, and Pat Burke, who's the chair of the COA board, and Stewart is our select board designee. We also just finished the Chatham Municipal Academy. It was our inaugural academy. We had a cohort of 14 members participating over 9 weeks. The last session that we had was Wednesday, was a Why I Serve session, and I had invited Dina Castro as the chair of the select board. Let's go through my listing here. Dick Hosmer from the Waterways Advisory Committee, Liz McCart from the Railroad Committee, as a Railroad Museum Committee as a co-director. We had the chair of the Conservation Commission, and we also had the chair of the Energy and Climate Action Committee, who also serves on the planning board. It was a really interesting conversation. Some had prepared comments, others did a macro view. This group of cohort are really inquisitive, and they're very curious, and so they asked a lot of good questions too. So it was a really good recruitment pitch, and I think probably Liz McCart wins the award of really generating a lot of interest for what they do. And what was important for me to show that there's different types of committees that people can volunteer to serve. Some are regulatory, some are maybe more passion-driven, and I think it went really well. And then we had the graduation on Saturday morning, and that was fun. We heard testimony from a member, and also had an opportunity just to kind of connect the dots again. And so they all were asking about various committees to serve on, so I'm hoping we have 14, or at least 13 new members, with Stephen already serving as the chair of the FinCom. All right, and then we have employee.
And this is going to be repeated again next fall.
Yes, we're looking forward to doing it next September.
14 new people, or maybe more.
Yeah, maybe more. And we might tweak it, maybe condense it. It's interesting because the departments were wondering how they were going to be able to fill like an hour and a half. And the sessions are 2 hours, and we went over by like 15 or 20 minutes each session. So it was very engaging. So we'll get some participant feedback and also put out notifications of when the dates are. Employees' years of service, Sue Roccanello, our department coordinator in our Natural Resources Harbor Masters Division, has the most years of service for the month of November with 27 years. Ryan Darman, who you saw at the Budget Summit, our IT manager, is 14 years. Jay Briggs, our building commissioner, at 8 years. Chantel Kilkenny, our department assistant for community development, 7 years. Jessica Karen, our police dispatcher. And then a group of 2 years, Carrie Mazzarella, Director of Finance, Quinn Foreman, our Department Assistant for DPW Cemetery Division, Greg Berman, who you just saw, Director of Natural Resources, and Dana Grimm, our police dispatcher. And then we also welcome new hires in October. I know that you get a memo notification of a little bit of more of their background, that what's included in here. Brian Leahy's a veteran. Devin Neely has worked in medical fields, and Joshua Sawyer has done energy engineering, and he's been a specialist. So what's really interesting for us is that we're looking for non-traditional backgrounds for public safety, in addition to those who have had a calling or a passion for it. Those three are in the Plymouth, Massachusetts Police Training Council Academy for the next 20 to 22 weeks. And we also note where they live and relocations to Chatham. And then a lot of hits on our social media. We're congratulating Jackson Goddard for his appointment as the first boat operator and marine mechanic, so we're very excited to have him. And we have our promotions of Mark Welsh to DPW Heavy Equipment Operator, and Mark's a Chatham High School grad. Then we have our recruitment postings, as you see, and project updates are highlighted as an index, and information about our social media and the hard work that the communication team, including Shauna, as well as Chatham TV do. So I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Just wanted to ask, in terms of recruitment, I know I've asked you this privately, are we making progress on the Director of Assessing? Because Ardell is leaving in early December.
Yes, so
We have some candidates, and
the deadline for applications was considered well in advance before she left, so we're hoping to name a person either before she leaves or soon after.
okay. Any questions or comments regarding the town manager's report to Jill?
Lots of pictures in this one for
I like the
September.
pictures,
Yep.
especially the ones on the Natural Resources Department. That's really helpful. Okay, well, that was the last item on the agenda. I will entertain the motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, call the roll. Ms. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Metters.
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. We are adjourned at 6:12 PM. Good night, Chatham.